Society is crumbling. On one hand, we have proponents advocating for unchecked growth and technological advancements. They're blindly embracing a future where humans might lose our essential connections. On the other hand, there are those who just bury their heads in the sand. They're refusing to acknowledge the warning signs that history and science have laid before us. They believe that society is invulnerable to the dangers of overpopulation and isolation. But today I'm going to tell you how our future has already been predicted by lab experiments and the horrible parts that are yet to come. Now, if you're someone who's looking to dissect the intricacies of human behavior and the possible impending crisis that this behavior signifies, this video is for you. I'm about to dive in deep into a topic that presents an alternative lens to view the current state of our society as things are now. A lens that may just hold the solution to prevent our impending social collapse that so many of us feel is coming. Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. I'm Adam Lane Smith, your attachment specialist, and I'm here to shed light on the complex intricacies of human behavior and our society. Now today we're diving deep into an alarming phenomenon. This is a phenomenon which mirrors the complexities and the impending challenges that we, as a society, are gradually inching towards. The mouse Utopia experiments that were conducted by John Calhoun offers us an eerily accurate representation of where modern civilization might be headed if we continue down this path of exponential growth without understanding its repercussions on human behavior and relationships. With years immersed in the study of behavioral science, combined with the insights gleaned from these experiments, I'm here to guide you through this labyrinth of human complexity, to present not just the problems that we're facing, but also to pave a pathway forward with solutions. Yes, there is hope amidst the chaos. No black pills here, people. And understanding the learnings from this mouse Utopia experiment design could be our beacon in navigating these special, tumultuous waters. So brace yourselves as we venture into a journey of understanding, reflection, and, hopefully, transformation. Now, I will say this. In the realm of scientific studies that delve into behavioral and social patterns, the mouse Utopia experiments conducted by a ethologist John B. Calhoun stand out as both the pinnacle of behavioral research and a huge forewarning narrative on the potential consequences of overcrowding and social decay. Calhoun conducted his most famous experiment of all of them, the Universe 25 study, in the 1960s and 1970s that was part of a series of related experiments on rat and mouse population dynamics. Before Universe 25, there were several other iterations of that experiment, as that numbering would suggest. And Calhoun observed and noted the behavioral patterns and the population dynamics in different controlled environments. The earlier versions were instrumental in refining the condition for Universe 25, the special experiment we're talking about here today, which became the most cited and recognized of all of his works, and for very good reason. It sometimes keeps people awake at night. When you study it, when you learn about it, you're probably going to pee your pants a little bit during this video. I'm just going to warn you. But there are good things coming, so don't let the black pill that is this study get you too down. We'll get you there. Calhoun embarked on this ambitious project with an intent to study population growth and societal behaviors. Now, he set up an environment. It was a veritable paradise for mice, where they were provided with a massive abundance of resources, such as food and water, everything they could possibly need. But this paradise had limitations, most notably the restrictions on the space that they were able to cover. That was an element in particular that would soon become a determining factor in the unfolding drama within this mouse society. Now, in the early stages of Universe 25, the mice population, they blossomed, and their numbers escalated rapidly in a paradise of unlimited resources. The mice enjoyed a huge bounty bestowed upon them. They indulged in feasting, and they multiplied at an enthusiastic pace. It was incredible, as you would expect, with mice given unlimited resources. However, as the population surged, that limited space became a crucible for a series of really unsettling behavioral transformations. The social fabric that held the community together began showing signs of wear and tear. This might sound like our society. The behaviors that these mice exhibited started evolving, or rather, they devolved. They started manifesting signs of social strain and the onset of severe introversion and isolation from each other. It became glaringly apparent that the utopia was inching much closer to a dystopia. Now, as the space became scarcer, Might think of like New York City. The mice exhibited increasing levels of aggression. Territories were contested really fiercely, and this resulted in violent encounters. The rise in hostility seemed to permeate all aspects of this society, and it even affected the nurturing instincts of the mice. Now, maternal instincts and maternal figures, once nurturing and protective, started abandoning their young. Sometimes they'd even display aggression toward them to try to get their own space. Next, the males of the society also underwent a really radical shift in behavior. The once assertive and territorial figures who were fighting over space withdrew. They no longer displayed the drive to compete for mates or to establish any kind of dominance. This withdrawal created a huge power vacuum and led to a social structure that spiraled into chaos and disorder. Nobody knew who the leaders were. Nobody knew what to do. Everyone was just fighting back and forth. At this juncture, Calhoun noticed the emergence of a group that he termed the beautiful ones. These were individuals who dissociated completely from the social chaos around them, and they secluded themselves to indulge purely in obsessive grooming and feeding. These individuals withdrew from all social roles. They showed no interest in competing or mating or nurturing, or even nurturing the next generation at all. They represented a section of the society that relinquished all types of social roles, and they opted for a life of solitude and total narcissism. Now, this intricate experiment, with its detailed observations on social decay, it showcased a really cautionary tale on the perils of overcrowding, the loss of roles, and the increasing levels of stress in your society. Now, Calhoun really detailed documentation in his works. He really took very, very good notes. And it formed a narrative that's both captivating and horrifying when you read it. It offers an in-depth analysis of the psychological and societal breakdown witnessed in a contained, controlled environment. Now, most of you probably know where I'm going with this, but a few of you might be wondering, why is an attachment specialist and a psychology expert talking about mouse utopia on a channel designed to help people live better lives? Well, let's get into that. Drawing parallels between this mouse utopia and our modern society, it's not just an academic exercise. It serves as a really stark warning. It's a mirror reflection of the complexities and potential pitfalls of our evolving social dynamics. In our modern, largely urbanized world, where space is becoming really a premium and resources are utilized at an unprecedented rate, the strain on our social fabric is becoming way more apparent. How many times in the last year have you said, wow, it really is a small world? It's getting smaller, right? The internet is making it even smaller. We now find ourselves in an era where connections are increasingly virtual, and where the hustle and bustle of city life can sometimes lead to a profound sense of isolation, despite being surrounded by a sea of people. The mounting pressures of modern life, coupled with an ever-increasing population density, hint at a trend towards increasing individualism. This is a shift away from the communal bonds that we've really treasured and towards a society that prizes self-preservation over community well-being. The changing dynamics in human mating today and human mating behaviors are another area where we might I do, see echoes of the mouse utopia. The delay in starting families, for example. Evolving relationship dynamics. A perceived focus on self-improvement and personal goals over any kind of familial or community responsibilities seems to be on the rise. Young men today especially lament deeply over the challenge of finding a female partner who's willing to settle down and create a family at a younger age. A lot of times we call these men incels, involuntarily celibate men who are left behind in frustration. We use it as a term of derision toward them, unfortunately, but they're facing this real problem that has already been predicted decades ago from these science experiments. There's also a group of men called MGTOW, men going their own way. I have friends who are this, who have entirely separated from the mating dance, and they're focused purely on self-improvement, their own life and their own mission, completely separating out, giving up, and rejecting connection with women. It's not that they're homosexual. It's that they are not going to have sex or bond with anyone of that persuasion because they, the female persuasion, they have given up on it completely. In Japan, this is an enormous and growing slice of the population, and American men are following in what has sometimes been called the sexodus. Exodus, leaving, sexy, you got it. This mirrors the male mice in Universe 25 as they gradually withdrew from mating and territory gathering altogether in the face of what seemed like meaninglessness. Now, young women, on the other hand, increasingly talk about their personal aspirations and their career goals instead of family, which seems to mirror the breakdown in the maternal focus for the utopian mice. I'm not saying it's evil, I'm saying it's mirroring these experiments exactly. Plenty of young women now graduate high school just in time to open an Onlyfans and capitalize on being a freshly minted 18-year-old who's barely legal and to capture as much attention as money as possible. We've also seen the rise of NPC girls on TikTok who create emojis with pre-scripted behaviors while appearing as beautiful as possible and who release their OnlyFans material later for additional revenue. All of this is against the backdrop of young men crying out that it's becoming increasingly possible to mate or to build a family. It really is hard not to see Universe 25 mapped out exactly, especially in Generation Z, the upcoming generation, whose world has been condensed down to a tiny internet where everybody knows everybody and it's a constant viral memes all the time. Now, this shift can potentially lead to an increase in stress levels. It did in the experiments, and it is here for us as well, as individuals grapple with the pressures of maintaining that facade of perfection. They're trying to mirror the behaviors of the beautiful one, right? The beautiful ones from the mouse experiment. Have you checked social media lately? Have you seen the massive number of single bikini models or single fitness bros? They focus solely on being as beautiful as possible and to capture all the world's attention. These trends hit at a potential shift in societal focus, a movement that veers toward extreme individualism, potentially fostering a society that's fragmented and isolated from itself. Individualism is not evil. Look, I'm in America. Like we love individualism. Rugged individualism is what we're taught. But look, there's a certain point where you need to be able to work together in a society, and we appear to be passing that point, just like the mice in Universe 25 did. Moreover, the anxiety epidemic, particularly prevalent right now in the industrialized West, but spreading. They've done research that if they take televisions, for example, and put them in isolated tribes, a lot of the women start having eating disorders and anxiety issues. It's not going well, guys. This serves as a glaring warning, a sign of the escalating stress levels in human habitats that's growing right now. And again, this is reminiscent of the distress that we saw in the mouse Utopia experiments. As our needs are met, but as space is increasingly limited and our relationships fall apart, we're ironically more miserable than ever before, even with all our needs met and plenty of sex, plenty of fun, plenty of porn, everything. It's just not helping. So the research shows even the rise of Tinder and hookup apps are not stopping the downward trend, by the way, of people having sex. Young people today are having less sex than any previous recorded generation. And millennials, they're the most likely generation to want to have children, but also the most likely generation not to have children. It's heartbreaking when you see the research. Now, as we navigate this intricate maze of modern society, it becomes really imperative to foster and nurture healthy relationships, to create spaces where community bonds are strengthened and where individuals can find solace and connection amidst the chaos of urban life. Yes, we can go into our own Universe 25 human utopia, and we seem to be, but is that what we really want? The mice could not change their environment. They couldn't discuss the changes. They couldn't apply greater thinking or solve the degeneration of their society, but we can if we choose to. Now, while black pill dudes on the internet are encouraging us to, quote, enjoy the decline or to build a bunker to escape from society, other people are leaning into projects that could revitalize our society and foster a better future. Now, I'd like to think I'm included in that second pool as I'm working to teach everybody, right, and help people and show you what I have done in my life to secure your attachment and get that secure attachment. That might be one crucial part of the answer. I think it is, because we at least will not let fear in relationships govern those relationships and our choices as we move forward. Now, understanding the lessons from the mouse Utopia experiments provides us with a good opportunity to reflect really critically on our societal trends, to understand the underlying causes of the mounting levels of anxiety, and to potentially find solutions that steer our society towards a path that celebrates human connection, empathy, and hopefully mutual respect. Now, all of us together are responsible for this world that we're creating together. I'm not going to get all kumbaya here, but in our roles as caretakers of our society, it falls to us to foster awareness about these trends, to encourage dialogue and have those talks with each other, and to reflect on these pressing issues. That's why you're here on this channel learning this right now. We must analyze these patterns critically and engage in discussions that can encourage foresight and planning so that we can ensure a future that's nurturing and bonding for all of us. Now, if we all end up at Mouse Utopia by consent, that's one thing, right? But rushing there mindlessly, without awareness, and ending up somewhere that we don't want to be, that would be a true tragedy. Let's have this conversation so that we can at least discuss where we're going and why. Now, the unraveling of society, as depicted in Universe 25. And I think about it a lot, and you probably will too going forward. I'm just going to warn you. I think about it almost every day when I open TikTok or pretty much any social media app. You'll remember, oh man, Universe 25, you'll have a flash of mice. It'll be trauma, sorry. But even though this is a study conducted on mice, it gives us an opportunity. It's a crucial lesson that calls for our undivided attention. We are not simply spectators in this evolving narrative. We are, what's a good analogy? We are artists holding brushes that can paint the canvas of our society. Yes, it's a lot of us with a lot of different brushes and colors, but we are all painting together. In this light, we can venture into those domains where we can bring about some meaningful transformations that might be able to avoid Universe 25. So here, in that light, are 5 suggestions that I have for us that you can apply immediately to avoid the fate of Universe 25. Now, step number 1, we need to rediscover communities. One of the most chilling outcomes of the Mouse Utopia experiment was the breakdown of social structures and communities. To prevent a similar fate, we have to prioritize robust communities that we build. This entails nurturing connections with our neighbors, forming support groups, and facilitating platforms where ideas and resources can be shared. Remember that a society united can withstand the challenges that come its way much more efficiently than isolated individuals. Now, this can look like a variety of things. I run, for example, a private community called the Attachment Circle, where we form a shared identity around building and maintaining secure attachment. We check in with each other for help. We celebrate wins. This gives us a sense of community, even if it's lacking in our local lives. Now, other creators, other people, other healthcare providers, they have similar online communities, or they're rebuilding other people, their local networks after COVID shut down so many communities. Some religious groups in particular are working overtime to foster better connections between their members with after-hours events. This should continue, and it should shift into overdrive if we want to avoid the fate of Universe 25. I don't want a Universe 25 scenario, so I'm already doing this. I hope you'll join me in some of these things. Step number 2, more resilient family units. And this is where attachment comes in. As we saw, the familial bonds disintegrated in Universe 25, leading to a huge rise of violence, and then a decline in nurturing behaviors, and then total isolation. Now, to prevent this, it is paramount that we strengthen our family units, that we instill values of empathy, cooperation, and resilience, and that we have programs focusing on parenting skills and relationship building. That would be vital in fostering environments where these individuals can thrive, where people can do better because they're connected to somebody and they understand how. Understandably, attachment is huge for this. Building more secure attachment in our families is the number one biggest impact that we can have on the future. Part of the work we're doing here, right here on my channel, us together, is not just to feel better about ourselves, it's to become vectors of health in the lives of the people we love. Who have you, for example, shared a deeper connection with? If you've been watching this channel, I've got over 400 videos. Who have you reached out to or got deeper with or connected or bonded or anything? Who have you taught about maybe attachment? Even if you didn't use the word attachment, who have you talked to about this? And who are you doing better with? Anybody. This is a huge weapon in our arsenal against the Universe 25 scenario. Now, step 3 is mental health and wellness. Now, the significance of mental health was glaringly evident in those experiments. The individuals showed signs of extreme stress and social withdrawal. As a society, we need to emphasize real mental health and wellness to encourage dialogue surrounding this topic. We need to establish more mental health facilities, good ones, and integrate mental health education into schools and workplaces. Now, for years, I was a licensed marriage and family therapist for many years, and I know the system's broken. It takes 9 years just to become fully licensed. That creates a huge hurdle, which builds into a lack of available therapists for many reasons. And most therapists struggle to pay back loans. Student loans are hard, disincentivizing people from becoming therapists at all, and from taking any additional training to get better at their craft. It's not that therapy is useless. It's that we rarely use it in a way that's going to be more helpful for the long term. And we're running low on really properly prepared providers who can offer the best experience to the people who need it. Now, step 4, sustainable development and urban planning. The issue of overpopulation and limited resources was a fundamental factor leading to the downfall in Universe 25. In our world, this translates to sustainable development and urban planning, ensuring that we create spaces that can sustain our growing population without leading to resource scarcity or increased competition that can foster hostility and social breakdown. Now, I am not one, I'll tell you, to be alarmist about the environment, about the planet, just to be honest. But I do support smarter cities that cater to real human needs and to take care of our natural resources as better stewards than we currently are. If we care for the world that we have, without sounding like a Disney movie or something like that, we shouldn't run out of space. Or if we do, we can colonize, right? Hey, Elon Musk. We can colonize also in a smarter way and really enhance our space and grow so that we don't have these problems. That way, we don't have to start eating each other for nutrients. So let's take care of what we've got and let's just be smarter about it. And number 5, educational reforms. Education's the backbone of society, you guys, and we're doing a horrible job. Look, I grew up in the California public school. It's a miracle that most American adults can even read, and plenty can't. By revamping our educational system to include courses that foster real critical thinking, I'm going to say that again, and solution finding, and real community building, we can mold individuals who are not only academically proficient, but also socially responsible and empathetic. Now, I am totally opposed to social engineering and steering humans away from natural behaviors to fit some sort of utopian ideal. That is not what I'm advocating here in any way, shape, or form. If you've watched this channel for more than 2 minutes, you should know that about me already. But I have seen how bad those things can go. Again, I grew up in California. But we can use education in a better way to teach more practical approaches to the dangers that we are facing. That includes teaching more about attachment and how it works. Imagine learning all of this stuff when you're 12 years old. I've taught 12-year-olds, by the way, and it does click for them, and it makes the rest of their life make sense. So we can do a much better job at educating people for their real life, and we have to. Now, guys, as we stand on the brink of potential social evolution, and we are, it's vital that we engage in discussions about where we are headed and why. And if we want to go there, we need to talk frankly about if we really want to go there, or if that could create a living hell for everybody involved. I invite you to share your thoughts on the revelations of the Mouse Utopia experiments and their implications on our modern society. I'm really eager to hear your ideas and your apprehensions and your hopes for the future. What do you think? Are we going to go to Mars? Is that the answer? Is Mars our answer? Maybe it is. Share your thoughts in the comments below, please, so we can craft a narrative that takes us toward a future that's brimming with hope and connectivity instead of just endless black pills and hopelessness and human mice. Let's not get there. Now stay tuned, because in our next episode, we're going to dive deeper into this conversation to explore avenues that might help us steer clear of the pitfalls observed in this mouse utopia and to forge a path that celebrates human connection and community. You know I'm all about that. So remember, guys, together we have the power to shape a society that thrives on empathy, understanding, and maybe even mutual respect. I'm Adam Lane Smith, and I am with you on this journey towards personal growth. Thank you for joining me today. Remember that your voice matters in this crucial conversation. So until next time, take care and keep nurturing those beautiful minds. And I'll see you in the next video.